Hello, loves. Happy Earth Day. Darshana Avala here. And I am going to share an EcoErotic practice with you today in honor of our Lover Earth, Mother Earth, that which is the source of all the goodness, all the sustenance, all the magic, really. I mean, we would be nothing without this one, without her and all of the many manifestations of vibrant, beautiful life. And I want to start by acknowledging where I stand. So I'm in my backyard, that's practically speaking. And if you're hearing any, like, someone's doing a leaf blower or something a few houses down, so sorry, that might be a thing. But my feet are planted on earth that is the ancestral territory and home of the Ohlone, who are the indigenous people that have occupied this area, referred to now as the San Francisco Bay Area and then the Oakland Hills, but in their language is Huichin. And that's the territory that I stand upon, and that is the lived lineage of people who have been attending to this land for far longer than I could ever begin to imagine. And it's really important when we are stepping into a practice of any sort and we want to be intentional about it, creating a ritual, making love, having a conversation that might feel a little complicated, whatever form of intimate and intentional ceremony it's going to be, like, to consider where we are and the lineages of place that are holding us, as well as our spiritual lineages, our own ancestral lineages. And so I'm calling in all my erotic elders, living and passed on, and the ancestral lines of blood that I am descended from. And I invite you, as you are listening to this, if you're here with me live or if you're tuning in at another moment, to just consider that context and that holding. And I'm surrounded by beautiful Monterey cypress towering over me. Let me see, this is gorgeousness. Also some maple and camellia in the background. And I've got my feet planted on the bare earth beneath me. And I've I created a little earth altar. Can you see that? I hope so. And I'm just gonna come down here with y'all and begin with an offering. So it's really a beautiful and simple practice to create from the raw materials that you find in your environment. You know, we're intrusive enough, us humans. We don't need to bring anything else in. So I've got some fallen leaves and flowers from my backyard, and I created a little mandala, a little offering to ground the intention of this experience together today of sharing an eco-erotic practice with you for Earth Day. And a nice way that I like to really feel my connection is to acknowledge the elementals. They exist in our bodies, they exist in the world all around us. It's so much of what creates that common bond and really helps us to be in our sensual bodies. So first and foremost, I call on the direction of the east and the element of air. And taking a deep breath into these lungs of mine, I invite you to do the same. And in the south, it's the element of fire, the heat of the sun, the fire in our bellies. You might tap into that powerful generativity. If I wasn't in very drought-ridden Northern California, I might light a fire, but I'm going to be mindful. And in the direction of west, we meet with the element of water, which is primarily what these bodies of ours are made of. You can feel it in your saliva, in your blood, in your juices when you get turned on. And I'm going to make an offering here that is water and blood, and hold this dear as an expression of gratitude and reciprocity, saying thank you to this one that gives me life, and may I offer some of this back. And you can use water of any sort. You can use water from a sacred place. You can use your moon blood, as I've done, if that is something that speaks to you. Definitely a big part of connection to my own feminine self and to my identity as woman is to really be in a communion with my blood and to make an offering of it each month, life-giving life. Last and not least, in the direction of north, we have earth, element of earth, these bodies of ours, this matter, prima materia, and mother. And yeah, so just wherever you are, feeling and sensing into how the elements live in you, how air and fire and water and earth are alive in your sensuous body and all around you. And when I was putting out a little promo and buzz around this offering that I'm making here, this practice, really the thought for me was, in honor of Earth Day, how disconnected most of us are from the source of our pleasure. And some of you might readily see how the dots connect up, that when I say source, I'm talking about all this. I'm talking about Earth and our connection to the wild, more than human world. And a lot of us don't even realize that disconnect is there. And that's the big hurt. That's the big severance that has most of us feeling a sense of disconnect and a way in which we don't know where we belong. We don't know where we fit in. And so when it comes to our human-to-human intimacy, many times we're burdening those relationships and those connections with this desire that is so deep. It's so primordial. It's like we long to belong. We're made to belong to this place, to this planet, to these ecosystems, to this wild web of life. And yet, modern humanity, we've come a really long way from that experience of belonging and from knowing what it's like to be connected to and trusting in the wisdom of our bodies. We talk about, sometimes like feeling something in our gut, right? Like my gut says no on this one, or my gut says yes on that. And so that's where we can glimpse, or you might feel it when attraction is really clear, equally repulsion. You see somebody and you're like, oh my God, I had this happen to me the other day. This guy was walking down my street. I'm like, who are you? I want to tear your clothing off. Holy shit. Like, that was a really clear message from inside of me that I was like, yes, I want that. There's desire. And then sometimes it's a really clear, like, back up. Something doesn't feel safe here. Something doesn't feel aligned. So what I'm illustrating is that often when there's something more on the extremes that can provoke us, we have a clear sense of what our body's wisdom is telling us. But much of the time, we don't. We walk around fairly numb, not paying a whole lot of attention, just as when we walk around in the woods or the mountains or the desert or whatever wild landscape or wildish landscape or urban landscape, wherever you find yourself. There's no better or worse. Like I said, I'm in my backyard just to keep this simple for the sake of recording, so not exactly a wild space. And yet I'm very blessed to live among these many beautiful trees and to get to be in relationship and to love on them and receive their love. I like coming and sitting with this cypress in particular and like nuzzling up. I'll kind of show you. I like to tuck myself right up in here and be held. And when I'm having a hard day, when I'm needing to feel supported and grounded, when I want to really just feel a connection to something more than myself, often I'll come right here. and come into my body in connection with the body of Earth. So, my loves, that's the practice I want to guide you in today in honor of Earth Day. And I invite you now, wherever you are, and it doesn't matter if you're indoors, if you're out in the city somewhere, there's nothing on Earth that isn't of Earth. So we can always connect to that energetic. We can always connect to that sensuous experience. And we can always connect to the elements in ourselves, just as we did at the start of this little gathering here, sensing into how you breathe the element of air in, how water moves through your body, how fire churns in your belly, and then the solidity of earth that is your body. So if you're able to, go ahead and close your eyes now. Close your eyes and feel your breath. And can you really savor it? Can you slow it down, extend it out a little bit, and feel your breath as nourishment? I really love to do a nice vocalized exhale when I'm grounding like this, settling the nervous system. And when I exaggerate it, when I give a little extra something, you feel the vibration of that sound. What I notice is there's like an undulation. It's a subtle one, but an undulation that moves down through the center of my body. And then it makes me want to do what I'm doing right now, which is just start to undulate outwardly. And so notice if you can find a connection between the movement of your breath and your body. Staying with that slow, expansive breath and allowing your movement to match the breath. And now I invite you to bring some awareness to where you are connected to someone or something other than yourself. So in my case, I've got my feet down here on the earth, and so I'm bringing attention down into my feet. It makes me want to come down. And so feel, is it your feet, your butt, your back, your belly? What parts of you are touching and connecting with other? And begin to notice the textures. What's it like as I drag my foot across this bare bit of earth that's in my walkway, and I feel the little bits of leaves and needles and branches. I feel the coldness. It's a little bit damp. And so bringing your focus to those points of contact and all the sensory input that you receive. Texture, contours, temperature. You might play with the pressure of your own weight, giving more, lightening up. And so what we've done is already begin to invoke so much of our sensory wisdom. We're seeing, we're breathing, we're touching, we're moving, we're making sound perhaps. I really encourage making sound. And listening. I don't know if my little earbuds pick this up, but I hear some birds chirping. There's a sprinkler that is watering this earth that is so parched here in this land I live upon, and I'm taking in that sound, the sound of my own voice, and letting all of this infuse you. And keep finding your motion, keep finding your expression. We use this as a means of connection. So often we lock ourselves up in our bodies. We stay very straight, very linear, we're tight, we're contracted, we're walking with a purpose. So this is the opposite of that. This is the slowing down, this is spiraling, swirling. It does not need to be linear. And goodness, it does not need to be contracted. Can it be relaxed and loose and spacious? Can you keep deepening into the rhythm of your own breath and how that ripples through your body? And can you keep returning awareness to those points of contact? I'm coming back to my feet now. Oh yeah. And every time I do that, it's also because I'm moving the camera, yes, but every time I really come down to my feet and I feel the earth beneath them, I just want to get closer. I just want to get low. I want to feel how the needles from the cypress tree roll against my skin and how these fallen camellia petals, the little stamens, this little half flower beauty. And then again, the creativity of our erotic experience. It's like, where else on my body can connection happen? It might be an outward connection, the way I'm playing with and moving with this beautiful flower, bringing her onto my skin, savoring the damp, smooth coolness. That's absolutely one way to add more depth, more dimension, but you can also consider what in you, what in your internal experience, in your emotional expression, what more might you bring into this meeting? When I speak of the erotic, when I use that term very deliberately to speak of my work and how I see the world, I say erotic very deliberately, because our eroticism includes our sexuality and our sensuality. Our eroticism includes our vitality and our creativity. So it is the all-encompassing life force energy. And our sex gets to be a part of that. Our play gets to be a part of that. The ways that we bring our power and our passion and our purpose into the world, what we're devoted to, our activism, all of that is bound up in how Eros moves through us. And the source of Eros, the source of the erotic, is here in the natural world that we are a part of. And so this practice, more than anything, here honoring Earth Day, which to me, I am very much in the camp of Earth Day every day, and I really hope you are too. To honor the erotic is to honor Earth. And the more sensitive and attuned we become to our own embodied experience, to the sensuous nature of our being, the more attuned we are to that, the more attuned we become to our environment. And we move in the world in a different way. We move toward intimacy in a different way. There's an intimacy that I share with this gorgeous cypress. I cultivate a relationship. I bring my blood here. I bring my body here. I bring my words here. Just as I would cultivate an intimate relationship with my human beloveds, my friends, my lovers, my family. All of that's in the mix, and all of that is available to us. So ultimately, when I speak of an EcoErotic practice, I'm inviting you to cultivate intimacy. And I hope that this has given you a little flavor of that here today. It's been really sweet to come and share, and thank you for the love for those of you who got to pop in live. It's really lovely knowing that some folks are out there, and I hope this serves you. Enjoy and carry your Earth Day celebration forward, not just into this day, but into every moment of every day. And if there is a way that I can support you in deepening your experience, in learning to cultivate the power of Eros more, to move through what blocks you, what has you stuck, what has you afraid when it comes to intimacy, reach out. I do deep diving one-to-one journeys with women. I work with couples. And this Sunday, as every month, there is a gathering of the Yoniverse and the Universe, which is a sex magic self-touch ritual for women, cis, trans, all backgrounds, all orientations. Come on out and play. Links for all that jazz are in my bio. And know that I would love to hear from you. And I am standing with you, totally and fully yours, in erotic wholeness. Goodbye, dear ones. Thank you.